Did you know the earliest documented record of a witch was nearly 3,000 years ago?
The hairy beast stood next to them on 2 legs.
We've come a long way since then, but to date they inspire more fear than curiosity.
That still have the power to haunt us today.
In this video, we'll have a look at some real witches that have been captured and are very scary. Join us as we dissect these spine-tingling sightings of witches alone in the woods or those right under your bed. Witch under the bed. The witch has long existed in stories that we tell about ladies with odd powers that can inflict harm or cure, from Circe to Hermione to Morgan Le Fay and Marie Laveau. But the sighting in this clip is far from any kind of thing you've ever seen on television or in movies. The footage isn't for the faint of heart, because the only thing worse than having intruders break into your home is having something unexplainable get to your child. In this video, you can see a child unattended, and to add to the mystery, even the security footage is grainy and seems outdated. While the little girl is doing her homework and minding her own business, she hears some strange noises. Her parents may be in some other room, and she assumes that they are the source of the commotion. She just keeps on studying like a champion, but then out of nowhere, things take a creepy turn. Once again, the noises catch her attention, but she doesn't get up to check them out, when all of a sudden, this dark hand slinks out from under what looks like a bed. And it's not like any regular human hand. In the blink of an eye, the kid is gone, without a trace, no tears or anything. People say that it was a witch who snatched the child up, and nobody ever saw her again. But witches don't only lurk under the bed. Deep in the woods. Throughout human history, witches have been portrayed as sinister and diabolical figures, often linked to numerous deaths and disappearance, involving both adults and children. From what folklore tells us, we know that without eerie rituals, a witch's work is incomplete. And now we have the evidence. In the footage ahead, we have a man exploring the woods in Massachusetts in early 2013, and as he roams, he stumbles upon a peculiar structure constructed from sticks, mud, and dirt. His attention is drawn to the unusual details of a strange makeshift hut, and on a scary note, it looks as though it may be used for a ritual. But here's the least of his worries. Up ahead, movement catches his eye. He spots a woman dashing through the woods, seemingly covered in sticks and mud, and upon closer examination, the structure appears out of place. And the person in the background is dressed in black. It looks like she may have momentarily abandoned her post, but her mysterious ritual spot has already been discovered. For his sake, let's hope that he left the woods unscathed. And now let's wander to the land of the dead. The Walking Dead. The link between the dead and witchcraft stems from cultural and historical ideas. Witches were thought to have a link to the spirit world, allowing them to speak with the dead. Necromancy is a scary practice in which witches may contact spirits for a variety of reasons. Interestingly, witches are known to have the ability to revive the dead, manipulate spirits, and perform funeral ceremonies. Not to mention, some forms of witchcraft incorporate the use of burial ground elements, such as graveyard dirt, for magical purposes. So, would you be surprised if you came across a witch in a cemetery? In a chilling turn of events, a researcher delved into the paranormal activity, an unusual phenomenon. His research took him across various regions of Hungary, and he stumbled upon something even more unsettling and eerily alive. In the video, he comes across necklaces crafted from human teeth, and then he stumbles upon an entire abandoned graveyard. As he surveys his surroundings, it occurs to him that he is not the sole living presence in this graveyard. There, he encounters a goth woman, possibly a witch, concealing herself. Hungarians are renowned for their courage, so instead of fleeing, the researcher musters his voice and shouts something. Startled, the woman then swiftly gathers her belongings and makes a run for it. The man, unfazed, pursues the witch in the forest, but unfortunately loses sight of her due to a fall. Some witches don't like to hide, though. Open Field Ritual. Did you know that Scotland has its own witchcraft act that made witchcraft a death felony? As a result, there were countless witch trials and executions, and eventually the North Berwick witch trials took place in Scotland in the late 16th century. They were amongst the first witch trials in Britain, and they resulted in the execution of a large number of people who had been accused of witchcraft. Well, it looks like we have evidence of a woman who might have been a descendant of one of those witches. In the video, we see a woman positioned in the middle of a field in Scotland, moving in an unusual and peculiar way. She's dressed in black and appears to be engaged in some form of a seance. Upon closer examination of the footage, it becomes evident that her behavior is far from ordinary. She first takes a few slow spins and then suddenly raises her hands in the air as if summoning some spirit. And on a scary note, she seems completely unaware of the person filming her. As viewers, it's important to consider that typical individuals don't conduct themselves in this way, but some places have also truly embraced everything that is unusual. Sightings in Mexico. Now, you may not believe it, but this place in Mexico is like the witchcraft capital of the world. It's become a massive tourist hotspot, and even die-hard practitioners are shaking their heads. They've got a big shindig called the International Congress of Witches every single March. Interestingly, they do a black mass right at the entrance of a cave where they reckon the devil hangs out. They light up this giant six-pointed star, which they call the Star of David, and photographers go wild. Even politicians swing by to snag some good luck amulets for their election campaigns, and people come from all over just to get their auras cleaned up, looking for a little bit of spiritual refreshment. In one such get-together, things take a crazy turn. This video captures some children who are joyfully leaping into a river, relishing a scorching summer day. The camera's on hand so they can record and later review the acrobatics. But little do they realize there's a witch nearby. When they see the footage later that day, they stumble upon something odd at the top of the video. Figures moving one after another in a line. And the most shocking part, these figures are floating in the sky without any visible support. In total, there are 3 of them, and upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that they're riding broomsticks, possibly on their way back to a witch's lair. Given the importance and legacy of magic in Mexico, it seems difficult to doubt the authenticity of the video. But now we move on to another place that caught a witch in action. Bewitching in the darkness. Puerto Rico has a long history of witchcraft and folk magic. The island's cultural past, which has been heavily affected by African, Tano, and European traditions, has resulted in a distinctive blending of beliefs and behaviors. There's been a rebirth of interest in traditional Puerto Rican witchery in recent years, with practitioners attempting to maintain and rejuvenate these historic techniques. And it looks like there's more to these tales than them being just pure fiction. In this footage, we see a police dash cam right in the middle of Puerto Rico. The officer on duty reports having witnessed an extraordinary sight, a woman seemingly levitating in front of his car. He also notes strange sounds and noises coming from the surroundings. He slows the car down, deciding on whether he should step out and help her, but then all of a sudden, she opens up her arms and flings back her head. As if seeing her standing alone was not scary enough, now she looks like she's either being possessed or talking to the dead. The police officer quickly dashed away, deciding not to pursue the case. And you can't really blame him. Witch in the Cave. We've all seen Hocus Pocus and wondered if we would ever bump into witches like those. Well, 2 explorers who love the supernatural decided to go all out and explore a dark cave. And unlike the scary movies where the troop splits up, these 2 wisely decide to stick together. One keeps a lookout while the other keeps the camera rolling, hoping for a ghostly jackpot. Then this happens. For a mere split second, a shadowy figure appears in the video, so subtle that it's almost easy to miss. But the surprises don't end there. As they reach the cave's ending, they stumble upon what could very well be their first encounter with a witch. And there she is, dressed in black, almost glowing in the daylight, hovering in midair. The moment she catches on, she takes off riding what may be her trusty broomstick. Naturally, the investigators try to track her down outside, but luck is not on their side. The Witch in White. In India, as in many other cultures around the world, there is folklore concerning witches who are said to have the power to entice men. These legends have been passed down through centuries and are strongly ingrained in traditional beliefs, But on the other hand, witches can also take shape as attractive women who utilize their supernatural talents to lure and fascinate unsuspecting men. It looks like one such witch tried to get her way. The video is sure to give you goosebumps. These men in India went to a remote location in their car where they spotted an entity so rare that it was hard to look away. It appears to be a woman bent over with a cane, and her hair is thrown forward, and she keeps walking towards the car. Now her appearance is far from attractive, but she refuses to give up. It seems she plans to somehow capture the men before they desert her. Wary of what they've stumbled across, the driver keeps reversing his car. But let's just hope they drove away safe and sound. A case of magic. Africa's witchcraft beliefs are as diverse as its people. Each location, tribe, and ethnic group has its understanding of witchcraft, complete with its rites and rituals. In 1970, a German journalist named Ralph Olsen set out on a journey to the rural parts of Africa, driven by rumors of a powerful magician. Tourists and locals had spread rumors for too long, and he was eager to put them to rest. However, he captured a video showcasing this magician in action, displaying his magic tricks with a contagious smile and gleaming teeth. With an air of confidence, he conjured his ring of fire and confidently steps into the center. Then, with arms outstretched, he defied gravity, soaring into the sky. The spectacle is nothing short of astonishing. Upon returning to his newspaper office with the footage, Olsen would be met with laughter and eventually lost his job. Despite that, he never changed his stance. But it seems that even babies have their fair share of scary encounters. The possessed baby. Historically, the concept of witches targeting newborns may have originated from a place of ignorance. In an attempt to discover reasons for unexplained diseases or deaths in infants, witches were blamed. But it looks like there's some truth to why witches would prey on children. They are, after all, a vulnerable population, and that's precisely why the movie Exorcist still scares people, because it almost feels real. In this clip we're about to discuss is rather distressing as well. It appears to show a baby exhibiting behaviors that would suggest he may be under the influence of some sort of unexplainable force. The way the child cries out is far from the usual. He repeatedly calls for his mother, but his cries are more akin to screams of distress. What's even more unsettling is how he manages to balance himself on the narrow edge of the crib, a feat that seems almost impossible for a child of his age. Keep in mind that the room was in complete darkness, leaving him unable to see where he was placing his feet. Adding to this eerie nature of the situation, his arm seems to be forcibly pulled back as he falls into his bed. It's safe to say there's nothing usual about the video, much like this next one. The ghostly girl. According to legends, there's a belief that animals, especially dogs, have a heightened ability to sense the presence of ghosts or detect paranormal activity. Dogs possess the ability to sense disasters before they strike, owing to their exceptional sense of smell, and according to some, barometric pressure and all natural phenomenon have odors that are associated with them, which makes dogs sensitive to these smells. One YouTuber decided to film a video in a jungle in France, and let's just say his dogs would have rather stayed home. During filming, he noticed his pet behaving unusually, and for several moments the dog fixates its gaze intently towards the woods, even though there seems to be nothing there. Although he initially dismisses the behavior, the next day he returns to the same place near the trees and an abandoned well to resume his shot. To his surprise, he realizes his dog was simply trying to warn him of a potential danger. He becomes thrust into a state of utter panic when he spots a bald, barefoot girl standing far within the woods. His mind races, and without hesitation he grabs his phone to record a video. In it, he's expressing fear, suggesting that if anything were to happen to him, the reason lies in the eerie figure at the forefront of the woods. This mysterious girl, clad in a white dress, promptly vanishes back into the depths of the forest, leaving the man with more questions than answers, and she leaves without uttering a single word. But this isn't the only wild sighting caught on camera. The crazy witch party. Most of the stories that haunt us are usually from a time long ago. But what if I told you about a recent witch sighting? In the year 2012, in the dead of night, this highly unsettling yet dramatic event takes place in an office building in Manchester City. While the rest of the world was sleeping, it was as if the spirits and witches were awakened, transforming the space into an otherworldly gathering. In this security footage, we see that these unseen entities quickly take over the entire office, making it clear that they don't want any human interference. First, they make themselves comfortable and begin taking a spin in the chairs, and then decide to break through the doors. After that, they can be seen flickering the computer screens on and off. To think that they can power up all the IT in the building is a bit scary. Then, drawers are forcefully opened, and papers are sent swirling into the air. And to think that the employees were in for a rude surprise the next day was an understatement. However, there is more eerie security footage to see. Witch in the window. Now, you would never expect airports to have scary witch sightings, but you'd be underestimating the power of the supernatural. In this video, we see CCTV footage capturing an airplane about to take flight, and just before it departs, the camera pans over and captures the surrounding area. We see ordinary high-rise buildings and then something sinister. In one of the windows, an eerie figure can be spotted looking back at the camera. Is it a witch or a woman dressed as a disturbing clown? It's really hard to say. Interestingly, it looks like she didn't mind being spotted, but to viewers it is shocking nonetheless. Whatever the entity is, it prompts another CCTV to swivel and capture it, but by the time the camera reaches that angle, the figure has vanished without a trace. A night to remember. The woods near Bristol are known for their supernatural reputation, blurring the boundaries between the ordinary and the otherworldly. Two friends decided to investigate these claims. Their experience is just one entry in an ongoing anthology of eerie sightings and inexplicable phenomenon for those who dare to venture into its depths. The girls set up camp in the dense woodland near Bristol, but the night did not seem all that welcoming. Scarily, the forest seemed to awaken with an orchestra of peculiar sounds. From leaves rustling and owls hooting in the distance, the girls had heard it all. To say that they were frightened would be an understatement. As time passed on, a sense of unease began settling in, and then came the sharp cracking of twigs nearby, and that was their breaking point. The two decided that they had had enough and hastily packed up, making a swift retreat back home. Once safely at home, they then scrolled through photos they had taken through their eerie night, and that's when they stumbled upon it, a ghostly figure, an image forever imprinted in their minds. It appears to be the figure dressed in white gazing back at the girls. Some might say it was keeping an eye on them, while others say that it was meant to attack them, but let's just be happy they left at the first warning sign. The Real Witch in Blair Witch. One of the things that made people obsess over the Blair Witch Project was a hypothesis that would suggest a witch does emerge and she's hiding in plain sight. The performers did go into the woods alone, with only a few hints about what was going to happen. They were ready to capture anything unusual and never stop the cameras from rolling. According to one YouTuber, the actress in the film may have caught a glimpse of the Blair Witch or another type of witch on video, which you can see approximately 14 or 15 minutes into the film, right as they're going deeper into the woods. Just as the cast sets afoot, there is a terrifying sight. A black hooded creature is standing near their car, seeing them walk away. Even when the frame of the movie changes, the figure never disappears. Witch in Indonesia. In Indonesia, they have a belief in something called the dukun, a type of witch doctor or shaman with both healing and malicious skills. In some parts of Indonesia, particularly in Bali, dukuns are said to have extensive knowledge of traditional medicine, spells, and rituals, and they're frequently sought after for treating diseases and also casting protective charms. In a recent video, a spine-chilling sighting has been captured. The footage reveals a shadowy figure clad in black with eyes that gleam with an eerie sheen, emitting a sinister cackle. This unsettling sight unfolds as a woman sits nearby, her presence lending an air of mystery to the scene. There's a suspicion that this could be a secret ritual, potentially connected with a cult. The mysterious figure, the woman's presence, and the disturbing laughter all hint that there's more to this encounter than meets the eye. It's also possible that the old woman in the video is there to meet the dukun, which could explain her composure next to the frightening figure. However, some people would rather keep their distance when they meet a witch. The terrifying sighting. In a sinister video recorded in Mexico, a group of young boys comes across a truly unnerving sight. They aim their camera at the eerie scene, capturing a woman dressed in white, her hair tangled and dirtied, walking alone in the desolate woods. Although her face remains hidden, her complexion appears to be ghostly, intensifying the feelings of dread. The woman moves with an unusual haste, as if driven by an unknown urgency. Her intentions remain unclear, but she's murmuring something under her breath. It's safe to say it's a witch in clear sight. She suddenly approaches, and the boys swiftly retreat, deciding that it's best to maintain a good distance. Meanwhile, the video serves as a reminder of the strange and unpleasant interactions that may occur in the woods beyond our daily lives. The exact nature of the woman, her purpose in the woods, and the motivation behind her disturbing presence are all unknown. And either way, it's just too eerie to be anything normal. Have you ever caught a witch on camera? Let me know about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.